Okay, so I just posted a video of a needle chart for those of you that are watching the tutorial videos on our page and keeping up with those to help you when you go buy needles. Now I want to show you the actual needles themselves and what you're buying. So I've got two of my pattern books laid out here with complete sets on them, and I'll go over kind of what that means. You can buy needles by the individual. So I've got two sets laying here. These are regular crochet needles on this book, like what I'm teaching in the classes. These over here are doily needles when you're making lace and smaller things. And you can tell definitely by the size, these are for smaller projects and these are for your bigger yarn projects. And then you can see here, these are all my personal just extras where I have, multiple J's or multiple sizes of one size that I use more often than the others, and a second set of doily needles. Because when I got married 6 years ago, I actually crocheted my entire wedding dress with lace yarn. So I have a bunch of those from past use. So once you get going and you buy needles, you will definitely get your collection bigger than what you think. But you can go to the store and just buy an individual needle like this. This happens to be a size I. There's how it looks. In that last video I told you you'd see a dash and then the size. So I9 is the USA. This does not have an English marker on it, but it does have the metrics. It's the 5.5 millimeters, so you'll see that on there. It's on the needle and the packaging. In the middle of the needle where it's smashed, it'll say the size, and then on the back it'll usually have the company. Most of my needles are this Boye, B-O-Y-E company. So you can buy this usually around $2, $1.87 I think right now at Walmart, so around $2 you can buy this individually. But you can also buy them in packs of 3s, 5s, 7s, and 9s. So when you're buying needles, I think it's cheaper to buy them by the set. Even if you're not using them, even if you're not learning with them, you eventually will. And when you buy them by the set, if you're buying those sets of 5 and 6 and 7, you're going to end up with cheaper needles. They're the same exact needles, but you can buy the set of 5 at Walmart right now for $6.97. So I don't recommend buying them individually if you don't have to. You'll end up spending more money that way. When you go to buy the set, this one right here I'm going to explain in a minute because he's not part of the actual set. This is a set of needles. This is a full set too. What they call a full set. There are obviously the M, N, and L are not in this set, but this is a normal complete set of what's most commonly used. This is the B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, and K. Again, those are pinched into the center. So as you can see here, if I can get it to focus in real quick here, it will tell me, there it is, US, it's upside down, USK 10.5, that's the US denoting, slash metric 6.5 millimeters. So you can see that from the letter B, which is teeny tiny here, he's the smallest, and letter K, the bigger the letter, the bigger the hook on the needle here. So there is what a normal set of crochet needles will look like. Now you can see why I ask you to stay kind of in this range right here, the I, the H, the J's, because those are in the middle. For attention purposes, when you're learning to crochet, those are the ones that are going to give you the best practice. If you tend to be a tighter crocheter and you're having trouble with your tension being pulled too tightly, your chain is coming out where your V's are very, very small. When you go to turn around to make that second row, you can't get into that upper part of that V, that back side of the stitch. You can size up. It might help you a little bit in learning to get that tension correct. Vice versa, the same. If you're using these three letters in the middle and you feel like your chain loops are just huge and you're just loose, and you want to try to size down and keep it more controlled until you practice that chain a little bit more, you could probably size down to the G and the F, and maybe that would help you a little bit there. This little guy here, if you look at him, if I can get him to focus in, he only has a metric number. He is a 3.25 millimeter. He does not have a letter in the US, and as you'll notice on some of those charts, there's some blanks. Like there's a size in the metrics, but there's not a US number, or there's a US number and there's not a size in the metrics. There are very few needles that'll pop up that are not across the board. This is one of those. 3.25 is right in the middle between these two here. They're right between D and E. These two are, well, actually he comes right after this, but the D in the US is a 3.12 and the E in the US is a 3.5. So these two should go next to each other. But if you'll notice, I said this guy was a 3.25. So he's in between the 3.1 and the 3.5. But there's not a letter in between E and D in the alphabet, A, B, C, D, E, D. So he really goes in between these two. He's a size in the middle, but he doesn't come in the set, and he doesn't have a US letter. So if you ever find a pattern and it's wanting you to use a 3.25 millimeter and you're confused because it doesn't say a letter, it probably won't say a letter because he is not a common needle. But he is in there. He does count. He is on patterns. So I just thought it was nice to kind of include him in this discussion because he's part of the group. Over here, these needles are by number. They start at 0, 0, then 0, then a half, then 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, all the way to this guy, which is a 14. You'll notice on the 14, he is super tiny. I don't even know if this will focus in on him. We can try to get it to focus here. He is so tiny that it may not want me to focus on him. So, it's trying, but he is pretty little. And so there you can maybe kind of see the hook on his head. He is just really tiny. These are lace needles. Your grandma might have crocheted doilies a long time ago. Obviously the 0, 0 up here is a little bit bigger. And they go smaller as the number goes up. So he's the smallest, and my camera can't really focus in on him, but those are doily needles. That's another complete set of needles that you would use once you get more advanced. They are by number instead of letter. There's no letter on them. So you'll see if it'll focus in here, and let me read it to you here. They're silver. They're metal and shiny, so the camera doesn't like them. There we go. Size 10 and a 1.50 millimeter. So they don't have a US letter, but that 10, that is the US demarking because they're by number. So I've shown you a set of doily needles, shown you a set of regular crochet needles. Obviously, once you get going, you'll have a huge collection of anything extra if you need another H, or maybe you lost your H, can't find it, and you go to look for it, and it's not there, so you go buy a new H, and then you end up with 2 because that's about the time you'll find it. So don't be scared to have more than 1, that's for sure. I had some in my class that had questions about different types of needles. Needles comes in all variations. They can be made in plastic, they can be made out of metal, they can be made out of wood. This is one that I got for a Christmas present, and as you'll see, it has a handle, and the handle is the needle itself. So this is the needle itself, and these are the needles. So this is the H, if you can see that. There's the H and the US number 8, and they all have that on them. They'll tell you what they are. This one here, the E, US number 4. And this one here, there's the G, US number 6. So they still have the marking, and this tool is cool. They come out of the tool like that, and then you can just pop the next size on. This is good because in my right hand I have arthritis, so sometimes having this handle doesn't have the pressure quite as bad on my hand. I had a lady in class that was having trouble with the needle being so small because her hands were bigger, and she thought maybe if she had a gripper to hold the needle, it might be a little bit better. Her tension could get a little bit easier for her. That is a great idea. This would be an example of that. They sell these on Amazon. There's different kinds of grippers and handles that you can put and different sets that you can buy. But I wanted to show that real quick because that would be what she is wanting to look for. A set like this that would have a handle for whether it's arthritis or whether you just need a bigger grip than what some of these smaller needles are. And then it's going to come with the full set of needles, just like the regular set you're buying, but you'll just activate them in and out of that handle whenever you need the next size. So I hope this is helpful. This was kind of a long video to explain the needles and show them all to you. But after you watch the other one and you're able to read the details of the needles, now you'll be able to have seen them and kind of get a feel for what you're looking for. As you'll notice, they can be made out of several colors. The metal ones that you're buying from Boy, color makes no difference. I have H's that are pink, orange, blue. They're all still an H. So it doesn't really matter color. So don't let that phase you. The actual color of the metal doesn't really mean anything. It's just the marking on the center of the needle that you'll want to pay attention to. So I hope this helps. Feel free to rewind this, watch any part that you need when you take it with you to the store. Whatever you need to. If you have any questions, like always, feel free to message me, and I will answer those as soon as I get to them. I hope you guys have a good weekend. Thank you.